Good evening. I'm here today as the chair of the Review Committee of the CRI's Irvington Fellow Program, and it is my distinct pleasure to present this year's Fred W. Alt Award for New Discoveries in Immunology. Each year, we present this award in recognition of Dr. Alt's dedication to fostering the careers of young investigators. He served for many years as the chair of the Irvington's Fellowship Committee and has continued to serve on our committee since the two institutions merged their fellowship programs. In addition to being a spectacular and dedicated mentor, Dr. Alt is a highly esteemed scientist and colleague, and he's here with us this evening, and we appreciate his dedication to the Institute. As you've heard, this award recognizes a former postdoctoral fellow for outstanding research achievements in immunology that have a major impact on the field. And tonight, I'm proud to present this award for 2011 to Dr. Stephen Jameson. Dr. Jameson was educated in England. He got his bachelor's degree from the University of Bristol and was bestowed in 1988 with a Doctor of Philosophy from the University of Cambridge, after which he came to the United States to train at the laboratory of Dr. Nicholas Gascoigne at the Scripps Institute in California. As noted earlier, CRI's postdoctoral fellowship program is really a flagship program, one that we at the Fellowship Committee and as the Scientific Advisory Board really appreciate the Institute's dedication for so many years to investing in our young scientists, and especially to Dr. Lloyd Old, the first chair of that committee, subsequently chaired by Carl Nathan, and now the honor of my own honor to chair that committee. And again, we thank all of you and the Institute for really investing in the future of the field. As noted, in the 1980s, we're going to tell you a little story here because there really is a family of CRI, and this story of tonight's awardee actually tells the story really well. Because in 1980s, the mentor of our awardee for tonight, Nick Gascoigne, actually had a fellowship also from the CRI to study with Mark Davis at Stanford University, who's an eminent immunologist and also a previous winner of the Coley Award that we're also here to give tonight. And after he completed his fellowship, he moved to the Scripps, and where Stephen Jameson, tonight's awardee, actually became his very first fellow. And to be quite honest, you should know that to actually take on the challenge of going to a brand new lab run by a newly minted independent investigator is a bit of a challenge. And although we don't know about those challenges unless Steve tells us about them tonight, we also know it can be an opportunity, and both the mentor and the trainee in this case obviously really took advantage of the opportunity that this circumstance presented. Dr. Jameson then went on to work at the University of Seattle with Dr. Michael Bevan, another leader of the field, and also a prior winner of the Coley Award from the CRI. He then moved on to the University of Minnesota, where he moved up the ranks and became a full professor in 2006. He followed in the footsteps of his illustrious mentors to make key discoveries about the way our immune system works. In particular, he has been studying how T lymphocytes are regulated. T lymphocytes are a key one of the cell types that helps our immune system fight both infection and cancer. Now, most T cells sit around in what we call a naive state, and it's important that those cells survive in that state, but be prepared to respond to any challenge, whether it be infection or other insults. Now, what's important is that behind every vaccine is the concept that once we've seen a challenge once, if a T cell sees it again, it's even better prepared to respond. And that's a phenomenon we call memory. And the data from Dr. Jameson's lab back in 1999 and several other independent studies showed a very interesting insight into the cells and how they go from being naive cells to memory cells by showing that if you took naive cells from one mouse, put them into another mouse that had its own T cells depleted, they took on a memory-like behavior. Ever since, he's been studying the regulation of this phenomenon, and it has many implications. For example, it can help us reconstitute the immune system of patients who have been treated with chemotherapy and radiation therapy, causing a disruption of the function of their own immune systems. It also has implications for adoptive T-cell therapy that you're going to hear about during the Coley Award presentation this evening. And finally, it could help us to actually enhance the body's response to infection and cancer. So for these important discoveries, and as many contributions to the advancement of our understanding of immune cell function, it is truly an honor for me tonight to present the 2011 Cancer Research Institute Fred W. Award for new discoveries in immunology to Dr. Stephen Jameson.
Well, thanks, Helen, for the eulogy. When the time comes, I want you to be there. Indeed, many years ago and many years ago, I was lucky enough to be a CRI postdoctoral fellow and to study the capacity of the T cells to respond in the immune response and to control pathogens and tumors. And I've continued that kind of work in my own lab, and in particular this phenomena of trying to understand how the immune reconstitution can potentiate the function of T lymphocytes in control of pathogens and tumors has been a major focus. Probably for me the most honorific side of this is the great company that I'm in tonight, and previous recipients of this award. And in particular, I think, as you'll hear, other awardees tonight, Phil Greenberg, Steve Rosenberg, have really taken some of these ideas of basic immunological research and translated them into immunotherapies. And for me, that's a great example of how this can actually work, how basic research can lead to clinical applications and saving lives. So thank you again, and I really appreciate the award.
Congratulations again, Dr. Jameson, and thank you so much, Dr. Puré.